welcome or welcome back to my channel. It's Nadia and today we're gonna talk about the different types of one-page monthly logs that you can use in your bullet journal. So if you ever find yourself running out of ideas or feeling bored of creating the same monthly layout every single month, then this video is gonna be perfect for you. For this tutorial, I'm gonna be using my Tumbitree Mary bullet journal. I'm also gonna be using these Tombow brush pens and a couple of black pens and a white pen as well. If you're brand new to bullet journaling and you're not sure what is the purpose of a monthly log, the goal of a monthly log is really to give you an overall bird's eye view of the month. You can really use this page to schedule certain events or even schedule some upcoming tasks to really help you track your top priorities of the month. And this first monthly log that we're gonna create is perfect for any of you that want something really quick, functional, and minimalist. This is the perfect monthly layout for you because it's super quick and easy to set up. It's very simple, but there's also a lot of room for you to personalize it and customize it to fit your own lifestyle. So the first thing that we're gonna do to prepare this monthly log is create a little calendar view on top. For this tutorial, I'm gonna be using a notebook that is in the A5 size, and the calendar that I'm creating here is created by dividing the squares into a 3x3 square. And I remember when I was brand new to bullet journaling, I used to wonder how people was able to write the dates in such a small square, and I'm gonna let you in on a little bullet journal secret, and the secret is to use a super fine pen. So as you could see in this tutorial, anytime I'm writing the dates for my bullet journal, I'm gonna be using a really fine micron pen in the 005 size to be able to get the date to fit in that tiny square. And I know this might sound super obvious or basic, but when I was a beginner, this was a mystery that was unanswered in my head for the longest time. Now, going back to the overall monthly spread layout, you can use the section below the calendar to note down any important tasks, and you can also create a little legend to track down any habits. So you can assign a specific habit to a certain color, and then you can use these colors to note down which days you did a certain habit in the calendar section above. For the next monthly log layout, we're gonna create something similar to the first page, but I'm also gonna show you guys how you can really elevate it a little bit and find some ways for you to add a little bit of your own creative style and a bit of your own personality to it too. So the first thing that I really like to do to elevate any of my bullet journal spreads is to add a really nice lettering. And something that you might have seen me do in this video is I like to start doing my lettering from the middle of the page. This actually really helps me make sure that the header is gonna be perfectly centered on the page. The next thing that you can do to elevate your monthly log design is to also add a nice header to the calendar itself. Now you can do something really fancy here, but for me, I like to do a black header with some white text on top. I find that gives a lot of contrast, and that's actually my favorite way to make a header, but you can get super creative here. I've seen a lot of people do some creative designs, so feel free to go out of your comfort zone and try something new. Also, let me know in the comments down below if you like to start your monthly spreads on a Sunday or on a Monday. Typically, I like to start writing everything from the Sunday because that's how my calendar is set up on my computer and on my phone. However, because in the month of October, it ends on a Sunday, I find that it looks perfect if I started the calendar starting on a Monday to get that really perfect square look. So let me know in the comments down below if you typically start your calendar on a Monday or on a Sunday. And going back to the different ways that you can elevate your monthly logs in your bullet journal, one of the ways that you can add a little bit of your own style to it is to add some colored circles to the dates in your calendar. In here, I'm just using the color pink for all of the circles, but you can also make it really fun by alternating between different colors. I've seen some really cute calendars with 2 different colors, or even an alternation between 3 colors is really fun as well. You can also be super fun and create a gradient rainbow with a lot of different colors, and that also gives a really nice look to your calendars. And some other things that you can include in your monthly log below your calendar is your goals for the month or any important events. And to complete this monthly log, I'm also gonna add one of my DIY stickers that I made at home. And if you guys want to learn how you can make your own sticker sheets at home without an iPad, cutting machine, or sticker paper, I'll also link a tutorial that I made so that you can try for yourself as well. Another type of monthly log that you can try for your bullet journal is a sideways or horizontal view of a calendar. This is really great if you're someone that likes to write directly within the squares of the calendar itself. And the first thing that we're gonna do to prepare this horizontal monthly log is to create the header. You can also add some really nice lettering on top for the month as well. I decided to go with the really simple lettering style because I really wanted this spread to be very minimalistic. And to make your monthly log set up even faster, instead of creating individual boxes for each day of the month, you can also just create a line to separate each week of the month. You can also go back and add a little circle to separate each day of the month. Now I like this layout because it does give you a little bit more space than the previous ones. Each square here is a 4 by 5 square, so it does give you a little bit more space so that you can write within the lines. Now if you're looking at these layouts and you're thinking to yourself that you need a lot more space than that, the best thing about bullet journaling is that everything is customizable, so there's a lot of ways that you can get around that. The first thing that you can do if you need more space in your bullet journal is to use this one-page monthly log on one side of your bullet journal and then use the other side of the page to add some extra notes or events that you might need. The second thing that you can do is also attach a new page with some washi tape like I did in one of my Dutch store videos that I'll link in the description down below. And the third option would be to hit that red subscribe button so you don't miss my future video on 2-page bullet journal monthly log ideas. Now another variation for this one-page monthly log is to also do the same calendar but with boxes instead. I find this really helpful whenever you have a lot of projects and you just need to be mindful of how the month is progressing. So what I like to do is just create the calendar with the 4 by 5 squares again, and something that I'm gonna do with this spread is I'm actually gonna color code each week of the month and really give it a really nice gradient look. And I feel like this spread has been especially helpful for me during the quarantine because I just feel like time has been flying by lately and I just feel like I lost the all concept of time. And for someone like me that has a lot of tasks to get done really around the end of the month, it's been really helpful for me to kind of keep track of how much the month has progressed and being able to look at the gradient and know how close I am to my deadlines. So if you're also someone that has a lot of deadlines near the beginning of the month or even at the end of the month as well, I think that having a layout like this would be really helpful for you. The next monthly log layout is also a really great idea if you want to see everything that you need to do within the month, but you don't necessarily want to make a calendar. And this one is also really easy to set up because all you need to do is create a really nice header if you want to, and then after that you just have to write down the dates of the month and then you can write out any task that you need next to those dates. And to add a little bit of color and pop into this spread, I decided to go with my Hollywood Lights inspired header, and you can leave the spread as is, or you can also add a couple of boxes on the right side in case you want to note down any specific events, any specific goals, or even a tracker as well. And whenever it comes to using a tracker in my monthly spread, I like to track a goal that has a measurable number that I can measure at the beginning and at the end of the month. So for example, maybe you have some financial goals, so you want to track your savings at the beginning of the month and at the end of the month. You can also track any fitness goals such as your weight loss or the amount of weights that you're able to lift. You can even track your social media following, or you can even track something like the amount of pages of a book that you're reading. And to finish off this monthly log, I'm gonna take my really light gray pen and I'm gonna use this brush pen to add a little bit of alternating lights in my monthly log. I find that this is such a nice and subtle way to really add a little bit more depth into your bullet journal spreads. Now the next monthly log idea is great if you want to elevate the look of your bullet journal and you really want a combination of the two previous spreads. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna add some really cute headers to make this bullet journal spread pop. Of course, this step is optional, but I really feel like a cute header can really make or break your bullet journal spread because it is the first thing that you see. So I decided to have a little bit of fun, play around with a couple of squares and add a little bit of embellishments to my header. And then after that, we're just gonna create the calendar as usual. And as you're gonna see really shortly, I actually made a mistake when I was making the calendar. I accidentally added an extra row at the bottom, and so I ended up having to go over it with some white pen to kind of erase my pen marks. And this actually happens to me a lot whenever I'm creating my bullet journal spreads. So don't be scared of making mistakes in your bullet journal, because you can always go and fix it with a white pen afterwards. Another way that you can write the dates in your bullet journal monthly logs is to also use the brush pen and kind of fill out the whole square in the calendars. I also like to do this whenever I'm doing my weekly spreads, and it's just a cute little way to write down the dates. And if you're using a lighter colored brush pen, it's really easy for you to write over it with a black or blue pen. And because you're using the brush pen, the numbers are going to be a little bit larger, so even if you write over it, it's still going to be really easy for you to read the numbers of the dates in your calendar. And because I feel like there's still a lot of empty space in this bullet journal spread, I'm also going to decorate it a little bit with some doodles on the side around the calendar. Now, the next monthly log is perfect for you if you have a lot of tasks going on, or if there's a lot of things that you need to manage. This is something that I use a lot at work as a project coordinator, and it's really great for you to manage a lot of tasks in one page. So the first thing that we can do is write down the date for each month, and you can also use a little symbol to note the weekday, as I find this really helpful when it comes to tracking your tasks as well. And there's a lot of different ways that you can use this spread, so I'll give you a couple of examples. But basically what we want to do is create some little rectangles to kind of create these blocks in our month that is dedicated to a certain task or a certain project. So if you're someone that is managing a lot of different projects like I am, you can simply use each rectangle for a certain project, and it's a really great way for you to be able to visualize when a project is ending and when another project is starting, because sometimes you might have a lot of these timelines overlapping with each other, and so this spread is a really great way for you to be able to visualize that. You can also use this if you're a student and you want to separate each column for each class. You can also color code the different classes as well. Another way to use this monthly log is that if you're a mom that has many kids, you can dedicate each column or color code it for each kid so that you can really be mindful of any important events for each kid. Now, the next layout is also a really great minimalistic layout that is great for you if you don't have the time to draw a calendar again. I really love this type of layout because it's really structured and organized, but I would say the main difference between this monthly log and the one that we just did is that the one that we just did before is a lot better if you have a lot of overlapping tasks. So this can happen a lot if you're managing a lot of different projects, but if you don't have a lot of overlapping events, if you know that your deadlines is kind of one after the other, then this would be a really great option for you. So what I did is that I just divided the top part of my bullet journal into two different columns, and then I get to write out the date for each day of the month so that I can get a really great overview of the month. And this is also a really great layout because you can even incorporate something like this into your trackers page or into your weekly spreads because it only takes up half of the page. After that, I decided to highlight the weekends because I find that it really helps to visualize the month. And then in the space below that, I'm just gonna create some squares and dedicate these sections for any of my goals or any notes throughout the month as well. And I'm really sorry for the wonky lighting here. Sometimes my phone just messes up its camera and doesn't want to stay on autofocus. But thank you guys nonetheless for supporting my channel. As you might have known from my previous video, we just celebrated a really big milestone together. So thank you guys so much for all of your support. And I'd love to know which of these types of bullet journal monthly logs was your favorite. If ever you decide to recreate any of these layouts, feel free to tag me on Instagram so I can also share your work with my community as well. I hope that these layouts was able to give you some ideas and inspiration for your own monthly logs. I know that at the beginning when I started to use a bullet journal, I didn't really know what I should write in my monthly log, so I actually never created one until just a couple of months ago. So that's why I really wanted to share these layouts with you so that you can have a couple of ideas of the different ways that you can use your monthly logs in your bullet journal in case you were also struggling with not knowing what to include in your monthly logs. Now, of course, it's great to have all of these ideas and inspiration for the 12 different months in each year, but what about the 52 weeks throughout the year? Well, to make sure that you don't run out of ideas when it comes to your weekly spreads, make sure to check out this video so that you can see the different types of weekly spreads there are that you can include for your bullet journal.